Why do modern men feel lost in today's society with all of the social media, with the capability of making money and the ease of being able to build relationships globally through social media and through all the capabilities that we have with technology nowadays? I've worked with professional athletes and A-list celebrities, and the common thing that I've found are these 5 points that I'm going to go through today as to why men, I personally believe, are not fulfilled in today's modern society here in the Western world. The first thing that I want to get to is men have lost their mission. In the past, men would historically have built families, businesses, physically homes, farms, churches, and even nations. The reality is in today's society, men, yes, you could argue build personal brands, therefore businesses, but I have personally found that many of the men that I work with, both as online coaching them with fitness and just in friendships and whatnot here in Miami, Florida, and all over the nation with me working with people from all over the US and the world, mostly men, a lot of the men just seem to be dissatisfied with their life, especially entering into their middle age, because they are not on a mission. God gave us, He built us to actually thrive in a setting where we have something as an end goal, as markers throughout our lives that we can actually pursue and accomplish and find fulfillment in. That doesn't mean the undergirding fulfillment that I personally believe only God can bring, but the reality is that men wake up daily, including myself, and think, what's the plan? What are we doing today in order to achieve fill in the blank destination 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now? That could look like growing a family, finding a woman to build a family. That could look like thinking of a creative idea to build a business around. That could look like getting a degree to become a lawyer, doctor, or an attorney. It could look like many things. So without a mission, men drift. And drifting can result in addictions to explicit content. It could look like men becoming addicted to alcohol, to being financially illiterate and dumping money into things that they should not be dumping money into, that ends up destroying their bank account, their long-term or short-term investments. It can look like a lot of things. The first reason why men feel lost is that they just simply don't know what they're building. And around that, we can then go to point two, and men are simply now, many men are just wanting comfort. Are you building a business because you want a comfortable life in the future? Are you working hard right now so that you can have a comfortable, easy life in the future? Or are you building a business? Are you building your family so that your future children, your current children can have a better life? What's the reason? Is your goal to build the most comfortable life around you so that you just can dip away from all your responsibilities and zone out the rest of your life? Because that's not how we were made. That's not how men have thrived in societies, and men in even the last few hundred years, specifically the United States, our founding fathers, the majority of them were in their late teens or 20s. Some of them, a handful of them, in their 30s. So we can look to men in the past and see the accomplishments, many of them graduating from prestigious universities at a very young age in their teens or early 20s, not the 30s like we see in today's world. Why is that? The expectations of men nowadays is not a lot. You know, you can argue that women expect a man to pay for things and to whatnot, and I agree with that. I think that's right. But on the flip side, you have feminism continuing to thwart a lot of how God created man and woman to coincide, to coexist with each other in a beautiful dance called marriage. And marriage is not something for the weak. It's not something that you can just find all of a sudden, and when you enter into it, life is good. I would argue that life actually becomes more challenging, but in the midst of those challenges, your reward is that of greater satisfaction because you're building a life with your wife, with your husband, with your significant other. Men grow through challenges and they grow stale through immobility and stagnation, when they're not doing anything, when they're not putting their hands, their minds, their hearts, their passion into anything. I worked with a famous rock star and his family here in Miami years ago. And he was one of the most depressed human beings. He was the Justin Bieber of the 80s and 90s and late 70s. And this individual, when I saw him around his family, he was not satisfied. He was no longer on tour. He was no longer doing things that fulfilled him as a man. And he was losing his family off and on throughout the course of the few years I was training him and his family. And it just shook me because I realized that that level of fame, that level of fortune, this individual is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and this individual still is not satisfied. All he does is he sits on the couch all day, he drinks, and he does not do anything. He's not involved with his amazing kids, who I trained a couple of them, and it really broke my heart to see that. And then you go all the way down to the level of another class of people where I went overseas and worked with orphans in multiple different nations around the world. And I saw the men that went around those orphans and were able to help them as essentially a stepfather or step older brother, whatever the age difference was. And they were able to help them significantly because they were able to build identity and passion into these young men, into these young orphan boys, and be able to help them achieve levels of contentment and satisfaction in life that even multi-millionaires and billionaires that I've worked with and famous people can never achieve, because they're trying to achieve something that society has set out for them as the means to which their heart, their soul, their mind would find the ultimate level of fulfillment. And I think you watching this probably know that that thing that is the Super Bowl of your life is not actually going to be the thing that brings you the ultimate form of satisfaction. We can then go to point number 3. Men are simply lacking brotherhood. That is why gangs, that's why sports teams, that's why multiple different avenues of brotherhood are in existence. The military alone, we can look at and see combat veterans and see how tight-knit they are. If you watch Band of Brothers, The Pacific, Saving Private Ryan, the movie, and many other war movies, war shows, we can see how tight-knit they are, and it is hard to imagine sometimes the level of trauma that they had been through together with their brothers overseas, or for certain individuals here in the United States. And going through that together brings the level of bondedness that men in today's society through civilian life, it's very hard to achieve naturally and organically. Gyms can sometimes recreate that. Communities online can sometimes recreate that. But we as humans were meant to have a community around us. In my last video, I touched on that. And being prepared in today's modern society as a man, that is part of what brings fulfillment to all of us. With that, building a community of brotherhood and having concrete things that hold that brotherhood together, I believe one of them needs to be fitness. Because for point number 4 to exist, we need to understand that the body, the mind, and fulfillment are very closely linked. Your body is meant to move. It's meant to be intaking healthy food and whole foods in order to build the muscle you need to build, to lose the fat you need to lose. And a lot of men I see don't have a brotherhood that pushes them even physically. They might with business and stuff, but do they physically with fitness push you to thrive? Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to think properly for your business. You're not going to be able to achieve long-term health for the family that you might have even successfully have built. You might have found an amazing wife. You might have a child on the way, a child already, or multiple. And if that's the case, congrats, because that alone is a huge deal, especially in today's world. But fitness is the thing that's going to sustain you over the long run, that's going to be able to create a bodily and mental health that will be able to walk you through a lot of the things in life that are extremely challenging. And when you face those challenges, your body is not going to be dumped with adrenaline in the same way as to if you were not working out on the regular every single week. And I would argue every single day. The final point today that I want to hit on is very simple. Men have lost their faith. And many of the things that they do place faith in are not things that have a bedrock. If you're putting your faith in yourself alone, in money alone, in fame alone, in social media, and the numbers that it brings out that you wake up and see daily and throughout every single hour of the day, because I know most of you do. If you're looking to that to bring fulfillment, let me tell you from an individual who has built multiple six-figure businesses, who's been a part of seven-figure businesses, who've trained 8, 9, 10-figure business owners, and seen A-list celebrities in the most raw environments, which is in their home with their family. Let me tell you from that experience, that is not going to bring you fulfillment. I'm a Christian, and I believe that that is the way to ultimate fulfillment and peace in your heart, and I'm a sole believer in that. And I believe that all humans are meant to find God through Jesus. But guys, have faith. Society's freaking crazy right now. It's demonizing men. It's demonizing masculinity, brotherhood, manhood. They're saying it's organized militia groups. It's saying it's, white supremacy, because, me speaking as a white guy, it's just crazy stuff. And how the most demonized people in today's world, in my opinion, are white men, which is wild. So if you're watching that and if you're watching this and you're not in that people group, then just stick with me. But if you're a man and you feel demonized in today's society, I want to tell you, you don't feel alone in that, because I feel that way. And I don't feel victimized in the sense that it's going to bring me to a place of feeling slower with what I'm building, what I'm putting my passions to. But the reality is that I know that societal understanding and expectation of me to feel demonized, to feel condemned, so that victim mindset can come over me and drag me down. I'm not going to let that happen. For my sake, for the brothers and sisters around me's sake, for my wife and my future children's sake, I will not let that happen. So guys, it's very simple. Money is not enough. Fame is not enough. It's just not. A man without purpose will eventually lose motivation. Motivation and emotions will come and go every single day. You will feel like you want to do something and then not do something. But it's those who remain in a disciplined, purpose-filled state, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and year after year, putting their nose to the ground and grinding forward in a place of peace in their heart and soul, with the family, with the brotherhood around them. Those are going to be the individuals in the long run, I believe, that bring the ultimate level of satisfaction and success into their lives. And success is not monetary. It's something much deeper than that. So guys, if you found this video helpful, I appreciate you sticking along and watching. Love you guys. Thank you so much for following along, and I will see you in the next video on Saturday, okay? Peace. Love you guys.